We are back, and this is like a little report here. You guys know me, coolest high performance coach in the world. I just have some smaller stories that I may or may not be making bigger video pieces about, and I just wanted to bring them to your attention just in case it takes me a while to actually make a video about them. Hit that subscribe button if you haven't already, but let's get into it. And also just bring up, these things are not related whatsoever, but we're going to start off with Bob Lee. Bob Lee, the founder of Cash App, he recently was stabbed to death. Very sad. Condolences to his family. He was stabbed to death. I've read this so many times. I pretty much know the whole story, but I'll just read it for you guys. The 43-year-old was found at 2:35 a.m. outside a luxury apartment building at 300 block of Main Street and near Recon Hill and Bay Bridge with life-threatening stab wounds. So what ended up happening is that he got stabbed to death just outside of a place. They're not really talking about what actually happened to this gentleman. I'll show you his picture here. They're not actually talking about what happened to him, but somehow he was outside of this apartment and got stabbed. They're not saying if he was meeting someone. They're not saying if the person had a car. They're not mentioning anything. But the one thing that they did mention, which is very, very sad, is that he got stabbed, and that wasn't it. Because that's what I initially thought, that he got stabbed and that he just fell down and kind of just succumbed to his injuries. And that wasn't what happened. He got stabbed. He was trying to call for help. He was trying to look for help anywhere, pleading with whoever was around. There was onlookers. They watched. He walked up to a car. He showed them his injuries. He asked for help. They drove away. He walked down the block. Same thing. Showed his injuries. The person drove away. And then on his phone, there is a recording apparently that they're probably not going to release, just out of respect, where he's asking for help. He's pleading for someone to come and, take him to a hospital. And then he collapses in front of that apartment building that I mentioned. And when they got him there, then he succumbed to his injuries and passed away. People who actually commented on this, there was many people, but Elon Musk was one of them. He actually said many people I know, and he said his condolences, but then afterwards he took to the actual police department that was in charge of this in San Francisco. So many people I know have been severely assaulted. Crime in San Francisco is horrific, and even if attackers are caught, they are often released immediately. Is the city taking stronger action to incarcerate violent repeat offenders? Brooke Jenkins, that's the person that would be in charge of that whole thing. And here's the thing. There's more to this article, and then the people tweet back to him and they say, that's not how it is, and we don't tolerate violence. But if you've ever been to California, you can tell, it's LA, like San Francisco, the homelessness the problem has been out of control. The crime problem has been out of control. So for them to just say that now is because they don't want to show what kind of leniency they've had, because that leniency actually led to somebody's death, and it's a very high profile person, which is Rob Lee. Sorry about that. So just to switch to something that's completely unrelated, this is the founder of Cash App. He is now gone. We do not know what's going to happen to his company, but the Federal Reserve is about to release their own version of Cash App. That's basically what FedNow is. That is what their company is going to be called. FedNow is going to have instant pay. It's an instant payment system. It will begin operation in July, and they're going to be having some early testers in the first week of April, which is now. So it's already being tested. This is very sad. I saw another article that was saying the long-awaited digital payment system to launch in July. Who's been waiting? Have you been waiting for this? I haven't been waiting for this. I thought money was fine. I'm fine with change, even if there's no bills. I'd be fine with change as long as it's mine and I can have it where I want to have it. I'm fine with it. They're just saying in this article, it's CNBC, but just again, always know thy enemy. It's just ridiculous, the type of stuff that they're putting out there. FedNow will make it. FedNow, as it will be known, will create a leading edge payment system that is resilient, adaptive, and accessible. They say here first, it's a digital payment system which promises to help speed up the way money moves. What's been the problem with the way money moves? Like, have you guys experienced that? Have you guys been handing a piece of paper to a cashier, and the cashier is fumbling around with it, and they're like, oh, Jesus, oh, it fell on the ground? I don't have any problem with the way money moves. It's been moving just fine for me. I don't know. And I don't know. It's just the stuff that they're bringing up in this article is just, the system will allow bill payments, money transfers, such as paychecks, and, disbursements from the government. And it's everything that you can do in your banking app, basically. Everything that you could do with Cash App, again, rest in peace, and your mobile banking. You can, like, why is this necessary at all? Now, again, completely unrelated. Robert F. Kennedy is now running for president. He wants to be the person who goes against Joe Biden for that Democrat seat. He wants to be the candidate. So it would be, if everything went well, in my opinion, if everything went well, it would be this gentleman versus Trump. Now, again, none of this is related, but we'll just go here. He recently had a tweet. I just picked one at random. He was talking about the Fed just announced how it will introduce FedNow, central bank digital currency, in July. This is the grease to the slippery slope to financial slavery and political tyranny. Well, I mean, I'll just keep reading. I mean, I didn't even know it was gonna be this. I just wanted to read one of his tweets. While cash transactions are anonymous, this will allow the government to surveil all private financial affairs. The central bank will have the power to enforce dollar limits on our transactions, restricting where we can send money, where we can spend it, and when money expires. That's a scary thing as well. When money expires, because when you put that into the air, when does money expire? Well, if something like this is in place, maybe for me it expires after I make this video. Maybe after I upload it, my money expires. Maybe some of it expires. Maybe I have to explain myself and then all of a sudden it unexpires. I don't know. Man, I'll just continue reading just for the heck of it. This is tied to digital currency, a digital ID and a social credit score that will allow the government to freeze your assets or limit your spending to approve vendors if you fail to comply with arbitrary dictates, i.e. certain mandates. I don't know. I couldn't read that word. I'm going to stop reading here. Again, completely unrelated. I just wanted to talk about him running for president, how great that is, I think. And it just seems really, really unnecessary to have something like this put in place. When they give the reasons of how money moves around and, speeding up your transactions, it's like things have never been faster, And again, I made a video yesterday and I was talking about something in terms of the pillars of control. And this brings me to something called the innovation power, right? Businesses have innovation power. So as they see fit, they tell you, this thing is a problem. This thing's not working as well as it should. And you're like, oh, it's not. And you're like, hey, they're like, I'm going to make it way faster, way better. And they're like, oh, okay. And that's what a lot of people are going to actually believe. But I'm not so sure. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe it'll be 100 times better. Maybe life will be great afterwards. But why risk it? Just a little palate cleanser, because you thought everything I said was crazy just now. But no. I have some real crazy for you. Would you like some real crazy? Here you go. Here's some real crazy for you. Let me switch over here. This is in Ontario, Canada. They're in a race for the crazy. They're like, we can out crazy you guys, In the West, it's just like a race to the crazy. So these people are making legal protections for drag shows, right? I'm just going to move right over here because you hear legal protection for drag shows and you're like, hey, that's great. And I agree. I think that's great. But let's actually hear what it actually entails. Let's hear that real quick. Go ahead, lady.
Attorney General to create a 2S LGBTQI plus community safety zone to prohibit within 100 meters of the property any homophobic, transphobic act of intimidation, threat, offensive threats, offensive remarks, protest, disturbance, and distribution of hate propaganda within the meaning of the criminal code. It also comes with it a penalty of $25,000 if prosecuted successfully. Firstly, it enables the Attorney General to create a 2S LGBTQI plus community safety zone to prohibit.
So effectively, what they have done is they've just outlawed protesting at a certain time when a certain thing is going on. Now that's gonna, I'm sure that won't lead to anything too bad. I'm sure that 100 meters won't turn into 500 meters. And then all of a sudden, if there's somebody who even identifies as one of these people, now you can't protest in that vicinity at all, even if your protest has nothing to do with that. I'm sure it won't turn into all that, right? And then you get prosecuted $500 $25,000. 500 sounds silly. The real number is much better. But I just wanted to bring you guys those stories because those are the things that I'm going to be working on. Not so much the Ontario, Canada stuff. I just threw that in just to throw you for a loop there because that's always fun to see what they're doing up there. But yeah, I'm going to be looking into this stuff quite a bit. I really think there's a connection to be made, and I'll just say it now, like between all the people in crypto who recently passed away, along with this gentleman. Again, condolences to everybody, to all those people that I'm talking about. But I think it's worth looking into, and keep an eye out for it. The FedNow app, it's going to be around in July, and it's going to be increasing in where it's going to be found and who's going to be using it. So you might want to keep an eye out for that too. But other than that, I'm out. This has been the Coach Report. I don't know what to call this.